Oh God! The eye! Not the eye! Ah! Welcome to Legends of Gotham, where we talk about Fox's hit series Gotham. I'm Bill Meeks.
And I need new eardrums.
At least I didn't yell directly into the mic.
Like you did the first time when you practiced.
No, but yeah, exactly. No, but that eye was terrifying.
That eye was really disturbing.
Like I have a thing with eyes anyway.
Yeah.
So, and it's like they're running down on Gotham. And that's what we talk about.
Did we say that? Did we
I think
say
we
that
did.
we talk about Gotham from Fox?
Yeah, but it's like they're running down a list of my phobias because last week was the balloon man.
Oh yeah.
And I have a huge fear of heights, and then this week it's eyes and like,
so what will next week be?
Dogs.
I thought it'd be cats because aren't you allergic?
I'm allergic to cats, but I'm afraid of strange dogs.
Interesting. How about a small chihuahua?
Small chihuahua?
Yeah.
I could take it or leave it, I guess.
A teacup
Kick it
poodle?
to the curb.
Teacup poodle. Just one that I can hold in my hand.
Teacup poodle. Yeah. You know what? Let's stop the farting around, Anne-Marie. Why don't we get started talking about this week's episode, Arkham.
Okay.
Well, I'm just really excited for what we have coming up right after the rhyming summary.
Well, that is really cool, yeah. Okay, shall I?
Yes, you shall.
When is a bodyguard not a sharp guy? When he gets a man in a trench coat to sever his eye. Who will build the new Arkham City? The mob isn't known for making things pretty. Is Oswald too clever? He's clever enough. And his pastries are filled with the unusual stuff? Oh, are his pastries filled with the unusual reading? Not working. Will the asylum be saved or remain wretched slums? Everyone wants a piece of Arkham.
Arkham. Okay, now normally here I would definitely start talking about the episode, but before we do, we have a message from here. I'll show his Twitter account real quick here. From director of this episode, TJ Scott, went ahead and called in and left us a 2.5-minute message.
Woo!
And talking a little bit about how we got added to Gotham. So we'll go ahead and play that, and then we'll start talking about the episode.
Yay!
Hey guys, this is TJ Scott, director of episode 104 of Gotham, Arkham, and 106, The Spirit of the Goat. I just dropped by to say I'm hoping you guys enjoyed watching this week's episode as much as I enjoyed shooting it. And I've been asked what my favorite part of directing Gotham is. Well, first off, I love the pilot that Bruno Heller wrote and Danny Ken directed. So when they asked me to come on board, I jumped at the opportunity, obviously. For me, coming on board a series when it's just starting off is the coolest thing, because I enjoy the big puzzle of how to shoot it stylistically, and especially working with the actors as they're first creating their roles. And this series has such a great ensemble cast with Mackenzie, Donald Logue, Jada Pinkett, Robin Lord Taylor, Ellen Richards, Sean Pertwee, Dave Mazouz, Victoria Cartagena, Cameron, Corey Michael Smith, Sabrina, Andrew Stewart Jones, Richard Kine, Drew Powell, David Zayas. Hope I didn't forget anyone. And then on this episode, it was super fun to have my friend Keen K. Kazim of Black Sails as my guest star. And I also got to introduce Mackenzie Lee as Liza. And I think she's going to be a big star. So this is like a big dream team cast for me to work with. Gotham also, the city's a real character in the series too. And shooting in the streets of New York was such a treat. We shot scenes in Gladwell's office were set up in just outside Wall Street, and the scenes where James Gordon slams the Penguin up against the walls was 1 block from Wall Street, with hundreds of people watching. We shot Fish Mooney's girl fight in the Brooklyn Navy Yards. We shot Arkham at Staten Island. We shot Maroney restaurant scenes in Brooklyn, and we shot the opening rooftop scene with Gladwell where he kills the councilman right across the street from Madison Square Gardens. So that was certainly a thrill. And then the show has these amazing sets, the police precinct and Fish Mooney's bar and Barbara Keene's apartment. They're all built on the sound stages, and they were all designed by the amazing production designer Doug Craner and built from scratch by his team. Anyways, I will continue to check in here, guys, and I hope you follow me and the rest of the cast on Twitter, and we'll keep you apprised of what's going on the show. And we tend to live tweet a bit, so please join us, and I'll see you in the movies. Bye.
Thank you very much,
so
CJ.
much.
Yeah, it was so cool, and I really hope you can check in again with us when your next episode comes out in a couple
That would be
weeks.
awesome. Yeah,
for sure. I completely blanked on the name of it just now.
Something about a goat.
Yes, I know it's something about a goat, but Yeah, and I don't know. I know some people had said might have been, but the Maroney's place, I believe, is the oldest restaurant in New York City.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I saw some guy comment about it, and he said he lived around the block from it. So he said it's either that restaurant, which they've used in a lot of mob movies and stuff, or it's a good replica of it.
Leave the gun, take the cannoli.
Take the cannoli. Take the cannoli. Okay, so Anne-Marie, what did you think of Arkham overall? Oh, and thanks again, TJ, by the way.
Thank you so much, TJ. We really appreciate it. You and your cheesy. I loved it. I loved it. There were so many different aspects, and this just happens to be not just because he just called in, but there was some really cool like visual. The way things were shot was it was like a movie.
Yeah,
it had movie looks to it.
Yeah, it was like it was a very saturated image, but it was also very dark at the same time.
Right, like
cool. Like these cool like the reds were like kind of syrupy and stuff, you know.
Yeah, well, and even just like the composition, like when Barbara's leaving the station and stops, that was like with the light coming in was so cool.
Oh yeah, and there was some other stuff too, like and we'll probably talk about this more later on.
Sure.
But in the press conference, the first one about Arkham with Richard Kind, you know, kind of explaining everything. I don't know, I just really dug the way that they kind of like zoomed in, and as he got into more detail, you got closer to the map until you could make out names and stuff like that. That was really neat too. Like there was just so much good stuff like that.
It was very visual, and it was well done.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well done.
But I guess the first thing we should probably talk about is there was a big actor in this episode, and
he was not as big as he usually is.
Not as big, but his actions were more significant, I thought.
Oh, completely.
Especially for him, and that's the Penguin. I labeled this section "That's So Penguin," and that might be the name of the episode. I don't know yet, but no, he's well. Obviously, we start off after the cliffhanger from last week with him. Dealing with James Gordon and stuff, but he's playing every angle, and he's trying to play everyone off everyone else. To start with Gordon there, I thought that first his performance. I've been reading a bit. Robin Lord Taylor has been saying he's been trying to draw a lot of inspiration from Danny DeVito.
You can see it.
Yeah, especially in that scene, like just kind of like his posture and like kind of hunching around. Like for the video watchers, they probably enjoyed that. But no, and I was kind of wondering, trying to think, why is he dealing with Gordon so much? I think what his angle is there, and he's this in the comics too. Is I think he's trying to become a confidential informant, like a paid confidential informant, where he can give them whatever information he wants to serve his ends while serving theirs, and they'll leave him alone or something like that. And I think that's what he was trying to angle in with Montoya and Allen in the first episode, but then he got killed. Right. So now he has leverage on Gordon that he can use to get that status.
To get to his end game.
Yeah, and then I like there's a completely different character he plays with Maroney, which is kind of like the helpful chump, like,
I saved the one bag. I'm sorry I couldn't save the other.
Gosh, Mr. Maroney, it'd sure be swell if you let me not be in the kitchen anymore. Maybe I could be the manager. Oh, hold on, wait a second. Let me kill your manager, and then you can make me the manager. And just like he's just so very gosh gee willikers, and just kind of like naive. He seems naive, but
he acts very naive.
And then when he's around his hired guys that he hired to come in and kill the manager and everything, he's really just himself. He has that really slick, like evil smile on, and he's just like calm and polite, well, with a little bit of deviousness,
enough.
But he has a professional air about him too, which is really cool. And he's willing to push his way to the top, and that's kind of what he's trying to accomplish here. What stood out for the Penguin for you this episode?
I brought the cannoli.
The cannoli
I'm obsessed with the cannoli. Great. I'm sorry, I'm Italian. It's a thing. The thing actually that stood out to me is the fact that he's not wearing everybody's clothes anymore.
Well, we did
2 seconds after I have a massive, awesome, cool theory down the drain.
Well, he did take the bag, which I guess you could count as clothes.
He took the bag?
Yeah, he took the bag of money.
Yeah, that was the actual part that he was trying to accomplish. That didn't feel, that wasn't, a trophy. That was the goal.
Well, he took something that they would carry on their person. But I did think in the beginning scene, this episode especially versus the end of last episode, he did seem thicker, like he might be wearing clothes underneath. And actually,
but
if people aren't familiar with this theory, we did put out a solo video, like with us going through it over the past few episodes. If you go to youtube.com/meeksmixmedia, you can check that out. But, anything else?
No, I mean, it's just always good and intriguing. It's so cool to see him flip a switch.
Yeah.
And we're starting to be able to see it when he's in one character, the other part's working. And it's, hit my mic!
And then he comes in and hits microphones and stuff.
Yeah. He's cleaning dishes, but you can see he's not just cleaning dishes.
Yeah.
You can see it, the wheels turning.
Oh, for sure. And I also saw Corey Michael Smith, who plays Enigma, who was great in this episode.
Yes.
But he's been saying on Twitter, he's been talking to people, and he said, this season is really just the Penguin, and then next season is going to be somebody else. I'm guessing that somebody might
probably
be
him.
Yeah, probably. But it's nice to get that focus on him. And people were talking up his performance, and I was impressed with the first episode, but I was like, why were they talking it up quite that much? Because it was a good performance, but then it just as it builds and the character gets more complex and everything, I'm like, oh, wait a second, this is why, because it's going somewhere like big by the end of the season.
Yeah, maybe that'll be Fish's death.
Could be. And then he takes her dress. Yeah. Her gray dress in this episode was awesome, by the way. The one she was wearing at the fight.
Oh my god, it was hideous.
I loved it personally.
It was awful. It was absolutely awful.
Agree to disagree. Fashion's subjective.
Yeah, we don't have the same fashion sense except for hoodies.
Yes, the Gotham hoodies.
Told you I'd wear it all the time. Okay, so I don't think it was just me. I think this was intentional. The music in the parking garage death, and it was also at the very end in the final fight with the chairs and all that. It sounded like a really, really dark version of like the na 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 na.
Oh, really?
Batman. Like when they were having a fight scene, and it was like, that's what it sounded like. And that's not something I just would randomly think of, so it had to be a little bit obvious.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I've never checked the credits. Maybe you should do this while I'm talking. But to see who does the score, if they do original score or they source it from somewhere else, because my buddy Dave Nelson on Twitter, like last week or something, was saying that it sounded very, very much like the Elfman score from the Tim Burton Batman movies. And so with all the references we're getting pulled in from various versions of Batman and stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if it was directly intentional.
Okay, production.
Yeah, it would probably be production or just full cast and crew.
Production. Hold please. You keep talking about something.
Yeah, but
what you got?
that scene was fun. I enjoyed it.
That scene was fun. I
can't see it. Well, if anyone out there knows,
wait, we have a chat room. Dear chat room, if
you know,
please find it, Bobby Hawk, I'm looking at you.
There's a Elizabeth there.
Yes, and I like that she's going to kill people for cannolis, because so would I.
Yeah, if anyone finds any information there on who does the score, if anyone knows the score, please let us know in the chat room or email us or whatever. Okay.
Falcone 2, Maroney 1.
Now, something that I've been noticing in a lot of the episodes is every episode has one or two really, really strong bit part like character actors, and this episode was no exception. There were two actually that I noticed. One of them was probably more due to Twitter than anything. Yeah. But the first one was the cigarette informant in the jail with the big bushy beard and everything.
I loved him.
He was just so charismatic and fun.
He was fantastic, but he gave up the information too easy.
You think 2 cartons of cigarette? That's like
maybe
$1,000.
I'm spoiled by SVU, but you got to work for that information.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, he asked them once, and he was like, "Oh, was it this with this with this? This is his name. This is where he works. This is his typical MO." Are you kidding me?
Well, see, SVU, they're probably trying to get information out of people under duress a lot more too. This guy was sitting in jail.
No, we've interviewed these types of people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was Donald Lowe though, so maybe it was the connection.
Maybe he made the connection on SVU and then brought it over to Gotham, and it made you spit your drink out all over yourself.
Maybe.
But no, I kind of got the impression that he was Harvey's kind of like go-to guy for information. And
Harvey has a go-to guy for everything.
He has several go-to guys and a lot of go-to girls too. And a lot of go-go girls as well.
Really?
Speaking of girls, there were a lot in this episode.
There were a lot of girls.
You wanted to talk a little bit about the weapons.
The weapon
Fish was
fight
hunting.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so first we have the talent.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think she was that great of a singer, but hey, Fish liked her.
The first one?
The first one.
Yeah.
The second one was the talent. And she really couldn't sing, I don't think, but she had the look.
See, I thought it was just like this really like strange, bizarre, like nightmarish lullaby thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's see, no, not in my world. But yeah. So it was cool.
It made me think that she's going to be something bigger than what we think. The Liza character.
Oh no, she's going to be huge.
Is going to be something bigger than even just Fish's weapon.
Fish doesn't know what Fish is creating a monster.
Yeah, that's my impression.
Ooh.
What's that?
Harley.
You think that might be Harley? Well,
hey, we're doing all these little spots. My original thought was the three girls in the very first scene giggling and skipping around in the
they
alley.
were very clown-like.
They were very clowny Harley.
Yeah, like I don't know if they would make her Harley though.
You don't know that though.
Like I'm not sure if they're gonna do Harley, how they're gonna do it, just because like her original origin is she's a psychologist who's treating the Joker after his like 20th time getting caught, and then she kind of falls in love with him, kind of like that what is that, Nightingale syndrome or whatever, where a doctor falls in love with their patient,
something like that.
Yeah.
But was there ever really a question as to who was winning this fight? Like the first girl takes her earrings off like that's going to do anything, and Liza's just like, and kaplow.
Yeah, she was right into it
chance.
like right away.
But it's weird because at the audition, she seemed less into it until the seduce me.
Yeah,
I think she was more intrigued by it, and the offer of power and money and respect.
See, this might be right, this might not be right, but it just popped into my head, so I'm going to say it.
Okay.
What if Liza is like, it's going to be a double cross? What if Liza's there from Maroni or something? Or not Maroni, Falcone.
I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest.
Yeah, especially since we know that Bullock has a pretty decent relationship with Falcone, and he came in there during that scene. Yeah. So I'm not trusting Bullock very much at all these days.
You can't trust Bullock for anything.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he doubled back and told Falcone or something.
Also, Fish is getting a bit loose with her talking of Falcone.
Yes.
Like to everyone.
Even when they were talking at the table, she kind of like gestured to it. Yeah, I have a backup plan. That girl right over there. So
yeah.
But I don't know. Like character has something more to do than just being what was stated in this episode for sure.
Thank you, Bobby Hawk. Graham Revel did the music for the first 5 episodes.
Oh, cool.
Who that is, I don't know, but we have a name.
Thank you very much, Bobby Hawk, for looking that up for us. So yeah, I'm sure they probably sourced a lot of the Batman music that we know and love to do that. I wonder if they'll do Bat Dance by Prince. Have you ever heard that?
No, I don't like Prince.
It's actually like it has a little bit of that 60s Batman theme, and it's like Bat Dance, dun, 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 and then it gets all Princey. But
and that's why
and you know what else Prince wrote a song for in that first Batman movie was the Joker. And I think that's probably our cue to look at this Joker. Look at this Joker. Look at this Joker in Gotham City. What?
That's not the
Look at this Joker.
Let's look at this Joker.
Look at this Joker.
I'm gonna look at a Joker.
We gotta look at this Joker now. Okay, here we go.
That was awesome.
Okay, every week we take a look at any clues or suspects we might have of the Joker, which, as we all know, is Batman's #1 arch nemesis. And we got the pilot here, Selena Kyle, the Balloon Man, and then this week where there was almost nothing.
There was pretty much nothing.
Yeah, there were a lot of cool callbacks, which we'll play a voicemail on in a minute, or like call outs to Joker related stuff. But the only concrete thing I saw that gave me any indication of the Joker at all was in that press conference scene, that first press conference scene when they showed the map of the proposed Arkham thing, and the mayor was talking about it. Basically, in both press conferences, actually, Mayor James mentions a waste disposal site being built on the land surrounding Arkham Asylum. As fans of the comic know, one of the Joker's origins involves him dressing up in a red hood and robbing Ace Chemicals. There he falls into a vat of chemicals, and the rest is hysteria. So that I'm thinking, this waste disposal site could be the place where the Joker becomes the Joker.
Interesting.
Look at this Joker.
Look at this Joker.
But
I love the little avatar pops up in between.
Nice. But we also got a voicemail from Rebecca Johnson. She noticed a few other little call outs to some Joker stuff. So we'll go ahead and play that right now.
Hey, Bill and Anne-Marie. This is Rebecca Johnson, and I'm calling about the Gotham episode titled Arkham. And I have some Joker thoughts. You might cover this in your Look at this Joker segment, which I love. But I thought
Thank you.
It was funny that Bullock used the phrase Crown Prince because it reminded me of Clown Prince, as in Clown Prince of Crime, which of course is one of the Joker's nicknames. And speaking of the Joker, I thought Fish Mooney acted like Heath Ledger's Joker from The Dark Knight by making the two girls fight for a job. It reminded me of his Joker making two goons fight to the death using the broken pool stick, which he called, quote, aggressive expansion. Enjoying Gotham more and more each week, and look forward to listening to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Rebecca.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah, and so I mean, there were a lot of little call outs to the Joker, but no solid suspects this week.
Well, we didn't have any Laszlo's.
Yeah, next time Laszlo comes back, we'll have a Joker suspect. Okay, and one thing we wanted to mention too. Actually, where's that poster?
I got it.
Okay, cool. We've been trying through the month of October. We're trying to get people to go to iTunes or Stitcher Radio.
Ooh, we can do this on Stitcher.
Yeah, and leave a review for the podcast to kind of let people know it's out there and everything like that. And we read them on the show. And you'll also, if you go and leave a review for us, you'll also be entered to win this Gotham San Diego Comic-Con poster they passed out at San Diego Comic-Con. I keep meaning to hang it up on the wall back there because we have
give
two.
It away, let's not. Oh,
well, we have two. There's one upstairs too.
Oh.
But someone will be winning this at the end of October. So if you can go to iTunes. Yeah, it has Catwoman and Alfred and Bruce Wayne and everybody and some promotional information. Yeah, but it's fun stuff. So all you need to do is leave an honest review for us on iTunes or Stitcher, and we'll pick someone at the end of the month. We have a couple here. Anne-Marie, you want to read the first one, and then I'll
read the second one.
Oh yeah, because that's
that has
that's
fun.
fine. Okay, let's see. First off,
but they're both 5-star, so yay.
The first one is from World of Gilly, and World of Gilly says, first off, I have to say when the show started, I was listening to one other podcast about Gotham, but quickly learned that this podcast, Legends of Gotham, knew more about the history and mythos of these great characters.
It's all that guy. It's all that guy over there.
So in my mind, we should all unsubscribe to all the other podcasts and just listen to this podcast.
We do not encourage that. We are a happy community.
Yeah, we are friends with all the Gotham podcasters. First. Yeah, listen to ours first and then listen to the others. Great work, guys. Fan for life. Woo-hoo! Thank you, World of Gilly.
Thank you, World of Gilly. All right, the next one comes from Pastor of the Batman, fighting the crime of boring podcasts. Every week, Bill and Anne-Marie, caped crusaders of enjoyable listening entertainment, will escort you on a guided tour of the seedy city of Gotham. Engaging, informative, and enthusiastic. These two Gothamites won me over with their positive perspective and their earnest desire to see Gotham succeed. Terrific balance of personalities, too. Bill is completely chic geek, and Anne-Marie is fantastically adorable, plus her voice is audibly delicious. Legendary. I have not stopped saying audibly delicious.
Yeah, you've been singing that pretty much all week. But yeah, if you can go leave us a review at iTunes or Stitcher, you'll be entered to win the contest, and we'll read it on the show like we just did.
Exactly, and see if you can get something else stuck in my head other than audibly delicious. Okay,
let's go ahead and get back into talking about Arkham here. Now, the next topic is it's a big one. It's probably the biggest one.
There's like 17 sub-points here, so I'll just have to jump in.
It's complicated. It's titled Gordon's Web of Deceit that he's building towards a good end. Obviously, yeah. As we the audience know, because we're seeing everything. But first off, he has Penguin, his little informant spy there, who's doing a whole lot of different lies and building webs of deceit of his own. Then we see that him keeping stuff from his partner, Harvey's starting to get really suspicious in this episode. He's saying that Jim's too smart. He knows too much.
How do you know all about Arkham?
Yeah, and it's just he's getting a little suspicious, but I think Harvey knows to kind of just play it cool and like ask a question here or there where they're kind of distracted doing something else. But I'm thinking the second that Harvey finds out that the Penguin's still alive, he's going to be on team let's kill Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
Like, because if Falcone finds out about that,
they're all dead.
Yeah, they're all dead.
They're all dead.
And yeah, I can definitely feel the Harvey Bullock Jim Gordon conflict coming up here like soon.
There's going to be a conflict, but you know what? He does love Jim in some respect because he has now saved his life in every episode.
You know, this is very true.
He comes in, he saves the day, he shoots whoever the other person is.
Well, we do know that Harvey too has great respect for the thin blue line, and you know, is all about protecting fellow cops. Right.
You know, as we learned last week.
Yeah, he doesn't care about a crime unless there's a cop involved. I actually,
pretty much
in my notes, I was like, if a cop had been burned in that barrel, would they have jumped on it or maybe solved it just a shade quicker?
A little quicker. I might have tried a little harder.
Okay, and then a way that another person he's keeping things from is Barbara, obviously.
Oh, Barbara.
But I mean, it's like she gives him an ultimatum in this episode because he's not telling her about Cobblepot. But at the same time, she wasn't honest with him she kind of lied to him about Montoya.
She lied. Well, she left out the truth. She still has other secrets that he doesn't know.
Yeah.
You know, middle of the day, she's getting high.
Basically, the weed.
I think that is really the problem. It has nothing to. I think she kept Montoya from him because Montoya would rat him out, or rat her out to him to help her. I think like it's another web. The webs are all connecting and intertwining.
And with her getting so upset about him not sharing things with her, like the last time he shared anything with her, like the last time he was straight up with her about the crazy stuff that's going on in Gotham, she called the police, or not the police, the radio, the TV station,
the
newspaper, I think it was, and like right away. And he was kind of like, no, don't. But then that put his life in jeopardy,
right?
You know, and he's just trying to come out of this alive so they can get married or whatever. And meanwhile, she's kind of, you have to tell me about Oswald Cobblepot.
Oh, little do you know Oswald Cobblepot.
Yeah. what was the name they gave?
Peter something.
I wrote it down here. Peter Humboldt. I looked it up. I didn't see any relation to Batman or any Easter egg. It's probably like the cousin of one of the writers or something. That happens a lot. But yeah, I also thought it was weird that Barbara seemed to expect Jim to be upset because Montoya was a woman, and he was just upset because Barbara was lying.
Yeah.
Like 2 times she was like, why? Because she's a woman? And Jim's like, no, it's fine.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
You just didn't tell me. And I have to, like, I think it's almost worse because he has to work with her.
Yeah.
What if she'd have said something to him and he'd be like, huh? And she's like, you're going to marry this dude? Like,
yeah. And it also kind of made me think, you know, did she regret that time in her life?
Or the opposite?
Or miss it?
Yeah. That's what I would actually think.
One or the other. I mean, I think it's safe to say that at this point, there's no trust between Jim and Barbara.
Not at the moment, no.
And I mean, even if I didn't know the comics very well and know that eventually, in the comics anyway, he ends up getting with Essen. Gordon does. But I
didn't know that.
Even if I didn't know all that information, I would still say these guys.
I also don't see that.
This relationship, it might not happen in the show, but their relationship is definitely, you know, last days or.
Which makes me sad because I really like her and her character. So I think even if their relationship is last days, that character's not going anywhere.
I wouldn't be surprised if she ended up getting pregnant before they split because Batgirl.
Oh, see, that's what I was wondering.
If I remember how it goes down in the comics correctly, what happens is she gets pregnant, she has the kid, and then she either dies or they get divorced. I think they get divorced.
I feel like I've seen them get divorced in something.
Batman Year One that we watched over the summer.
Okay, and you're pointing in my face.
Oh.
Yes.
I was like, oh, Batman
you like
Year
it?
One.
Was that?
Here, I'll point up at the ceiling from now on instead of
It's
in your
fine.
face.
You can point in my face.
But then let's see here, and then just something I wanted to mention real quick too is I really like that Gordon is being the one person he is being completely honest with is Bruce Wayne, right? Bruce Wayne and Alfred, like he's being like completely, they're the only ones he can trust at this point.
Yeah.
And I really thought that both actors, both Ben McKenzie and David, both really nailed that scene. And they just in this episode in general, great performances from both of them. What did you think of their performances?
I mean, I haven't, there's no one in the show that I haven't liked yet.
Yeah.
There's no one that I'm sitting here going, yawn, can we please move on to the next scene? You're just like, I'm not distracted or just bored.
Yeah.
So I think they're all doing an amazing job. But yeah, I love all of the stuff at the Wayne Mansion's all really cool.
Oh yeah, in that last scene especially, like I really like how Gordon kind of explains to Bruce that, and it kind of ties back to what Penguin says at the beginning of the episode about war is politics and all that.
Yes, the foreshadowing.
Yeah, and you know, if this is a war they're fighting, a political war, then this was, you know, the second or third battle and it ended in a draw. And Gordon's trying to explain to Bruce, yeah, we lost the battle, but there's still a big war to be won here. One that, in kind of like almost like pushing him out past the curtain, like maybe you could be a soldier in. Like,
see, I didn't get that.
See, I kind of got that impression. Like he wasn't saying, hey, go out next week and become Batman or anything, but he was like, you know, I kind of got the subtext of, you know, as you get older, maybe you could help more and more with this because you're a big, powerful family in Gotham, or like the representative of.
Interesting. We definitely took very different things away from this.
Oh yeah, what did you take away from it?
Okay, well, so it went, it's not too late. Do you believe Gotham can be saved? And I believe it's worth trying. A little bit of hope. I mean, I'm not saying don't do anything for the love, please sit back and watch.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, we just saved a bunch, like this compromise, as much as it sucks, just probably saved a lot of innocent lives, because if it was up to Bruce, it would have been like right now.
Oh yeah.
He's still in hothead mode. So I don't know. I didn't quite get the same thing from you.
Did you have any notes in here about Bruce?
No.
I just wanted to mention that it seems like, last week we had a section about what you can expect in any episode of Gotham. I think there's another addition to that list, and that's another mental disorder in Bruce Wayne. Like last week was the eating disorder. This week was the PTSD nightmare and everything. I liked how Alfred was like, was I in it?
Yeah, not this time. Not this time.
But yeah, Jim Gordon is definitely building this huge web of deceit, and I'm wondering if there's going to be some bugs fly into it, or if it's going to just collapse out from under them.
Yeah, they'll take out a corner.
We'll see.
Excuse me. Okay, for some reason in this episode, I found it extremely distracting. The whole, we have no idea what year it is. It was really, really awkward to me.
Yeah, and that's a complaint I've seen around online and stuff. I don't think either of us have had it yet in this show, but you found it particularly egregious in this episode?
Yes, because, okay, so they're all dressed pretty classic and timeless, but the women are erring on the side of extremely fashionable for now.
Yeah.
But then we have the rows of desks in one room. It's smoky because people are smoking. There's typewriters. I don't feel I've seen a cell phone. Have I seen a cell phone?
Yeah, I think there's been a cell phone.
Okay, then that really makes no sense to have typewriters and cell phones, because they're not even like the modern typewriters.
Yeah.
These are like early 80s manual typewriters.
Yeah.
So and then in the police station you have the big computer monitors. I'm like, no, it's been a long time since that's been really the regular.
Yeah, so it just feels weird to you?
It feels a little weird because with the exception of the technology, it feels very modern.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is
Mhm.
part of the point.
Yeah.
But this episode, that office felt really distracting, and then it had me looking, and I
Mhm.
didn't want to be looking. That's not something I should be focusing on.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the way it was really cool, and it took you back, kind of.
Mhm.
Not that I was ever there, but you know, like
Yeah.
to things you've seen. And I don't know, not a huge fan of the lack of knowing the year.
Yes, this is good though, because this is why we work out so well is
Because you loved it, didn't you?
yeah, I absolutely loved it. But I've seen every episode of Batman the Animated Series like 6 times, and that's an aesthetic that they had there, and they've also had in the comics for years too, where it's like a mix of whatever modern times is plus the 1940s, like the kind of film noirish 1940s thing. Like, in Batman the Animated Series, they had the big Bat computer where he had like a big screen TV in the Bat cave, but then they had Zeppelins flying around too. Yeah. So, and I mean, it's a fine line you walk with that too for believability and everything. And I guess it
As
just
Bobby's saying too, the show takes the time to skew from the animated series.
But
they're sharing brain waves.
Yeah, Bobby Hawk always he's always right behind me, like a minute behind me because of the delay. But yeah, you thought they just stepped 1 foot too far.
I think it may have just been 1 foot, but again, I'm not the person coming from the universe. I'm the outsider. But unfortunately, that's representing a lot of the audience.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, like I said, that's a common complaint I've seen online too. I've kind of been like,
I'm purposely like not reading too much.
Yeah,
see, weird.
What I always do is, we watch the episode when it airs, and then we watch it like the next day and take our notes. And I usually watch it like double speed when I'm working out, like a couple hours before we do the show. And then I'll go and I'll just like after I do all that and I've done all the research and done all the notes and everything for the show, then I'll go and I'll just kind of glance over what people are saying.
See, I'm on a stricter timeline than you are. So I try to watch it the night it airs. If not, I watch it the next night, and then I power watch it right before we record. So I don't have that kind of leisurely time to research the internet.
Yeah, someone else who doesn't have a lot of leisurely time is the mayor of Gotham City, Mayor James, played by Richard Kind.
I loved it. I love it.
He was great. Like the only time I didn't 150% love him, like it just seemed a little like he was rushed trying to deliver his performance,
because he was probably trying to get the heck out of there because 2 crime families are coming after him.
Then again, yeah, that's true. It could have just been a character thing.
Yeah, it may have been a character
but I really liked how versus his last appearance, he was very like just jerky. Kind of charismatic and stuff, and then behind closed doors very jerky. But in this one, he was very pointed with everything. Like he was like this point and this point and this point and this point and like very just quick and with his delivery of the dialogue and stuff. And I really enjoyed it. And it's interesting to see him in a non-comedic role too, because I'm so used to.
It's so weird seeing him in a non-comedic, but it works.
Oh, definitely.
So
a couple things kind of struck me as weird though in that last scene. First of all, I love the chair fight. The fight in the room with the chairs and everything. But it was kind of like a little chapel, right?
It was
I was thinking, like, what could this mean? Why would the mayor have like this little chapel in the back of his house?
I wasn't the only one going crazy with that.
Yeah, and this is a comic thing. I probably should have pulled up a wiki on this.
Probably.
Hold on, I can probably type it in here.
Here, while you're typing, I'm just going to be like, this is what he looked like. With his thing. Sorry for all the audio listeners. Yeah, that was me holding my notebook in front of my chest, making a crazy, crazy face.
Anne Marie did a very silly face there. But there's a kind of a newer element in the comics called the Court of Owls. And basically what they are, I imagine like the Illuminati or something like that.
Illuminati.
But just in Gotham City with ties to the Wayne family going back hundreds of years. And basically in the comics, they've been the ones behind a lot of the things that have gone on in Gotham City, particularly as related to Batman the entire time, but he didn't find out about them until late in his career in the comics.
Interesting.
So I was thinking that chapel could have potentially been, maybe that was a meeting place for the Court of Owls, because I believe the mayor in the Court of Owls storyline in the comics, the mayor was involved.
Oh.
So that could be where they meet. you know, or whatever.
Interesting.
And something else I noticed in that last fight scene that was actually more of a criticism.
Yeah.
Was that would the mayor really answer his own door, especially if he had police like watching? Like, well, I guess, you know, if someone got to the door, that he was assuming the police would have approved, but still. Would the mayor answer his own door? It seems like he would be behind some gated stuff or something.
Shouldn't he have regular police protection anyway? Why is this new? Like,
well, I think it might have just been a situation where like maybe it was an extra or doubled up or something. I can't.
I got the
Did they say that?
No, I got the impression that this was a new thing.
Oh, okay.
Because she was like, I'm going to get police protection on all the rest of the councilmen, the mayor too, as if that's not a normal.
Yeah, in that little 30 seconds there, you had a bit of a quibble with that too, didn't you?
Oh.
H?
I don't know. Hold on. I can't remember.
Oh, do you not have it up anymore?
What are you talking about?
If Jim knew the mayor was the next target.
Oh, if he knew, why didn't he bring backup?
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't realize we had moved on to the next point.
Oh,
yes. Cool. He's walking through a police station going, the next target is the mayor. No one even looks up or is like, hey, Jim, you need some help?
Well, that's because someone doesn't have a gun. For referencing the pilot, where he walks in, he's like, with the guy with the gun. But
gotcha.
Yeah, that's also a little weird too, is that in that first episode, the first scene, like he had like command of that beautiful police station set.
We will just keep oogling the station. Yeah.
But no one gives him a second glance when he's like, oh, the mayor.
I think it's because of that.
Oh, you think maybe he
made enemies?
I could see
he made enemies. Alvarez or whatever was just like, it's your box of evidence.
Yeah, I need to look up.
He's something. We're not done with him.
Oh, definitely, because I know that I forget the actress's name, the lady who plays Essen. She had mentioned him on Twitter as like this is his Twitter account, so I know we're following him on there.
Okay, well, good. We've got that going.
Okay, and I guess we should wrap up by talking about actually the main villain of this episode, the guy known as Richard Gladwell,
who killed Richard Gladwell 5 years ago.
Yes, but first of all, I really, as much as I hated like the stabbing in the eye and everything, I really liked the weapon. I thought it was
perfect.
Oh yeah, and I liked the whole concept of him keeping it in two pieces so people wouldn't know it was a weapon.
Well, it doesn't look like a weapon even when it's put together. Otherwise, the guy wouldn't put it against his eye.
When I saw the promo pictures, though, I thought it looked a little bit like a sonic screwdriver from Doctor Who.
Yes.
But something else I was thinking is, that would work pretty well, say, with like an umbrella as a weapon for, I don't know who. I can't think of anybody in this show who would need a weaponized umbrella. I don't know.
I feel like we've seen that before, even.
I don't know. Weird. But something else you mentioned, the whole fact that Richard Gladwell had been dead in his apartment for 5 years and stuff. I saw some people online saying that it was unbelievable and a body wouldn't be able to be hidden that long. No, I hear at least 2 stories a year about like a body being found 6 months or I think like a couple years ago, like it had been 3 years. This old lady had just like, she had died like in the chair watching TV, and because she had auto bill pay, they didn't find out for 2 years because everything kept getting paid. In this case, obviously, the killer was paying the bills so he could maintain the identity.
Ew.
But yeah, it's definitely not out of the realm of reality.
Not out of the realm of reality.
Yeah. Did you have any impressions about the main guy, the hired killer?
I love that he's like, that's why I'm a professional. I finished the job. But you could tell he was really just doing a job with all of it because he's like, no, really, sir. I voted for you. I don't know. His delivery was really good. Like at first I was like, okay, there you go. Like it was a quick switch for me. So I really liked it.
No, he was very disturbing and very scary and everything. I didn't like him as much as I liked the Balloon Man. But I don't think I was supposed to necessarily. He was more of a force of nature to work throughout the episode, where the Balloon Man was more the episode was built around him.
Right.
You know, so I really enjoyed it though. And very, very gruesome.
So gross.
And that's something that I was thinking about last night. Cause you know, we watch Once Upon a Time because we do a podcast on it, obviously. But I don't watch a ton of network TV. Most of the stuff I watch is on cable. And it just surprised me that something that's going out Monday night at 8 p.m. would one be able to be this violent? Not that I'm complaining. Like, I think it works really well.
Which is weird because you hate violence.
Yeah. Hate is a strong word. I would
You
say
strongly dislike and twitch on it.
I hate gratuitous violence.
Okay.
Every piece of violence in the show is motivated, I feel. And, you know, when it's grotesque, it's meant to be grotesque, and it's meant to get an emotional reaction of you to carry you to the next scene.
Yeah, and it does. Very much so.
But that and and this is probably more a sign of my age than anything. But when I was a kid, like Ellen, the Ellen episode where she came out and everything, it was a huge deal that like there was like a peck on the lips and everything. And I think it's great that, you know, we see so many both positive and negative elements of, you know, lesbian relationships in this show. I'm kind of wondering when we might see some guys too, though, because it seems like to be a very gay friendly show. So I mean, you know, turnabout's fair play, women, men, you know,
it'll happen.
Yeah, I think
it'll
so.
Happen eventually.
Okay, and you had something you wanted to bring up here.
I just wanted to a little something on some of the smaller villains, but they're not really smaller. They just haven't, you know, gotten their episodes really yet. Ed. I love Ed. He makes me happy because he just gets so excited over little bits of stuff.
And he always has some sort of quip or word. This week's was paradox.
Paradox.
I like how they shoot him too, because a lot of times like you don't really notice him in the scene for several shots because he's like blurry in the background, just kind of like creeping around, like writing his notebook, and then all of a sudden, he's there.
Yeah, I love that. I love it, and I'm so excited for when we do actually get an episode featuring him in more than one or two scenes. No Catgirl this week, so I'm a little sad. I feel like they need to like sneak her in the background of something at some point.
Maybe she was, and we'll get that scene next week, and she was, I don't know, she told the guy where the councilman was.
Well, you know, and that's the thing, I wouldn't even be surprised because she's that type of person.
Oh yeah.
Also, we haven't really seen Ivy since that first episode. It's the
glance.
pilot, and I feel like we should at least have a little, like, have her in a crowd. Just keep her around. Well,
I would assume that she's going to have at least one big episode or one, maybe even a big arc, like a couple episodes this season, just because of how much she's been featured in all the promo material and everything. Like, yeah, you don't feature someone like that in the promo material if she's just going to be one episode guest star, that small of a role, you know?
Right. Which is why I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
She feels like she would be good for like a mid-season break or something, like a cliffhanger for a mid-season break. Like, you know, danger, get to the end of the episode and then like grow in and cut to black or something. Yeah, would be cool. But let's see here. Okay, so I guess we should rate the episode. Okay, out of, let me do a quick count. And this is going to be a low number, unfortunately, for my arbitrary scale. Out of 6 pierced pupils, how many pierced pupils would you give this episode?
5. Ew.
Why?
Ew. It was really good, but I'll never give anything a full 100%.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I feel like it's a cop out when I say that, but really, I really like the show. I like the show more and more every week. I'm excited to watch it. You know, it's always there, and I really am enjoying it.
And I'll say I would give it, and this might sound negative, but it's totally not negative. I'd give it a 4, but that's just because out of the 4 episodes that have aired, it's probably like my second least favorite or something. But the thing is, like, on a scale of 1 to 100, no episodes got below a 92.
Right.
And if the one thing, like, each episode before now was kind of like conceptual, had a big premise to it, where this one seemed like it was building out all of the arcs for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And if I doubt TJ kept listening, if he's watching this at all past his phone call or anything, but if in case he is, I'm really looking forward to the next episode, because it feels like, you know, there's probably going to be some stuff in here that pays off there, I would assume.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really cool. And I really did love the episode.
It was awesome. Side note, just pulling a couple things from the chat room.
Mhm.
Bobby said, now that you mention it, it kind of looked like a Dalek version of a sonic screwdriver.
I like that. I like,
Mhm.
and kind of performed like one too.
It really did. Just look right here.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay, before we move on to the news and some listener feedback, we'd like to take a minute to thank Audible for sponsoring
Yay.
this week's episode of Legends of Gotham.
Thank you, Audible.
Now, if you don't know what Audible is, it's a audiobook service. Basically, what you do, you get a subscription. They give you 1 credit a month. You go and you get any audiobook you want. You can throw it on your iPod, your iPad, your iPad Mini,
Your Creative
your
Zoom,
iPhone Mega,
your Windows
your
media player thing,
your iWatch,
your iWatch.
probably. I'd
Is
assume.
it wrong? I'm kind of excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely wrong.
Oh.
You can even put it in like your car sometimes too. But
Yes.
it makes it nice because you can get some reading in, but you don't have to be tied down to a book or whatever. You can read while mowing the grass like I do a lot, or taking a walk.
This would have been
Or
nice on my
driving.
2-hour commute the other morning because of
Mhm.
rain. Thank you, Atlanta. It was awesome
Mhm.
sitting on 285. But yes, I was out of credit. So unfortunately, I had no books to entertain me.
Yeah, so for you, the listeners of Legends of Gotham, Audible's offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. Now, we always like to recommend a couple of books here. Anne-Marie, what are you recommending this week?
Whew. Sorry, I'm recommending I stop yawning.
Me too. No, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm recommending Small Message, Big Impact, the elevator speech effect, because it just felt perfect. Like I was like looking for something inspirational, and they all had these little clips. So there we go.
Nice. And that's by Terry J. Sojin. And these will be
Yes.
in the show notes at
Nope.
legendsofgotham.com. And I picked, and this is one I've been kind of holding off on picking because it's so obvious and so on the nose, but Batman, the Lazarus Syndrome. And it's basically a BBC full cast radio drama, which they have on Audible too. They have full cast radio dramas. They have old radio shows and stuff like that. Like you can see down here, they have the Superman, Batman, Robin crossover radio special from the 40s and stuff like that. And this one is about, let's see here. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh yeah, the Batman is dead, and Police Commissioner Gordon has received a recording by the Batman, which reveals his real identity. But who is the occupant of Wayne Manor?
Ooh.
So it sounds pretty good. It's 44 minutes, and you can pick that up with your free credit, or actually you can pick it up for $5, but get the free credit. Or you can pick up any other book you'd like to. And we should also mention it comes on Window Phone.
Yes, thank you, Rain.
So to hit your microphone, then download your free audiobook. Go to audibletrial.com/Gotham. Again, that's audibletrial.com/Gotham for your free audiobook. And we want to thank Audible again for sponsoring this week of Legends of Gotham.
Thanks, you, Audible.
And now on to the news.
Which is funny because that sort of goes with the old timiness.
It does. It does.
Sorry.
It fits thematically.
I hit a moment.
Okay, so first off, ratings. Gotham got a 6.3 million viewers, a 2.5 share. And I did pull this yesterday. It might have been adjusted since then. But it slipped 16 and 11% respectively.
Man.
And Sleepy Hollow held steady after it. So it's still not in any trouble. It's still one of Fox's most successful shows this season, even versus ones that have been on a couple seasons. So
people are really all about Sleepy Hollow, aren't they?
They are very much so. We should probably check it out sometime.
I watched one episode. I wasn't that impressed.
You weren't that impressed?
Sorry.
I don't know. I heard Peter Pan's on that show now.
What?
Yeah, I heard they have Peter Pan on there now.
Peter Pan or the actor who played Peter Pan?
No, Peter Pan the character, not Robbie K from Once Upon a Time.
That would be awesome. Then I'd have to watch it.
Okay, let's see here. Next up, we'll go ahead and check out. Where did I put it? Okay. Yeah, we'll check out the promo for next week.
Which we won't play
episode
over the air.
5, Viper, and we won't play it over the air because we don't want YouTube to pull us down. But we'll go ahead and describe it to you. First, we'll start off with Fish here, and she's talking to Liza, and then there seems to be some weird sort of S&M stuff.
It's a weird
going
training
on.
thing going. Maroney.
and the Penguin telling Maroni who he actually is.
Yeah,
And,
I don't think that's really to his favor.
No, he gets slammed down on the table. Looks like
I need a hero.
Gordon's getting abducted, and Bruce is jumping off a building.
Yeah, there was Catwoman, there was Edge,
and
it's followed by Sleepy Hollow. In case you didn't know,
it definitely is. But looks good.
Looks
action packed. Definitely. Okay, let's see here. And something I wanted to show everyone. I saw this because Gotham premiered in Australia and in the UK this week.
Yes,
they showed the premiere episode, and they hired people to go out to train stations and pass out a copy of the Gotham Gazette with, a big article about, Wayne shot dead in an alley, and Singing Star extends run at Mooney's.
Nice.
And then a little penguin picture there and everything like that. But I thought people might want to check that out. And you can find the link to that, like I said, in the show notes at legendsofgotham.com. And let's see here. Was there any other big news for Gotham? I don't think there was. Nothing big happened, right?
Nothing big?
Oh, except that it got a full episode order.
I was like, are you, what? it did things?
No, Gotham, it got up to 22 episodes, so a full season.
Yep.
So there'll be plenty of more Legends of Gotham in your future. and that very much bodes well for the show.
Yeah,
too.
well, I think I'm actually surprised that they're just now getting to that, seeing as how we already have an exclusive Netflix deal for this season.
Yeah, and I was going to say too, this in combination with the Netflix deal, like I can't see any way that this isn't going to get a season 2 unless it just like drops off the complete face of the earth ratings wise.
And I don't see that.
Like if it drops into like the hundreds of thousands or something.
Yeah.
But so that's cool. Congratulations,
cool.
Gotham. Let's see here. Oh, and something I found that I thought people would like to hear. And I just pulled a little 30-second clip of it, but you can look at the whole video. This is Adam West talking at New York Comic-Con about Gotham. Someone asked him what he thought about Gotham.
Oh, cool.
And I really liked his answer here, so we'll go ahead and play it.
What do you think of this new show, Gotham, that's coming out?
I like it because I think any effort to show Batman with the immense amount of baggage it brings, but the opportunity to do Batman, the pre-Batman that you used to, is good. And, Batman can be done on any parallel universe, any time sequence, anything. Because these days, we're getting smarter and more educated with all the gadgets and the things that can be done.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I definitely like that answer. And that's something I've been seeing people say too, like, well, that can't happen because this happened in the comics, or this happened in this show, or this happened in this movie. No, this is the multiverse. This is DC Comics. Whatever. You can have anything. I mean, we could have the Red Sun version of Batman show up in this show and inspire the actual version of Batman, and it wouldn't change any of those comic books you've read like for the past several years. It won't go back and recut the Dark Knight to include that or anything.
Right.
Like Gotham is its own multiverse, its own parallel.
It's its own
Earth.
reboot.
It's one of the 52 Earths. Let's see here. Okay, and something especially in combination with the weapon I thought was interesting is that is that we have a title for episode 7, which is dun 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 Penguin's Umbrella, which I thought was interesting. And the description is, excuse me, a new leader will rise in Gotham City on an all-new Gotham. As violence between Maroni and Falcone continues to escalate, Penguin reveals a new element of his manipulative strategy, forcing Gordon to deal with the consequences of his decision to spare Penguin's life in the all-new Penguin's Umbrella.
Ooh.
Yeah, that sounds really good, right?
That sounds really good.
Yeah, and I've also heard, and this is some speculation on my part, a little bit the creators talking, but I've heard a lot of people stating that episode 7 is kind of a big turning point. Even Victoria, Renee Montoya, when she called in for... Isn't that the one
that she was filming and she had to have a stunt double?
Yeah, she needed a stunt double for this one.
Like
so I've also, I forget the exact quote, but one of the creators kind of implied, and this might have been my interpretation of it too, I don't know, we might get a little flash forward or something, like we might get get a
That's
cape and
right.
cowl flash forward or
The
something,
cape and cowl.
which I would love. I would absolutely love. I'm not saying that that's definitely going to happen or anything, but
it has the opportunity is there.
Yeah, episode 7, Penguin's Umbrella, sounds like it's going to be a major episode. Oh, and
Okay.
Yeah, you have this pulled up,
I've got
right?
it.
Okay, cool. Today, actually, Warner Brothers announced their DC Comics film slate through 2020, and we figured since everyone who listens to this show is a fan of the Batman universe, at least, they'd want to know. So, Anne-Marie, what movies do we have coming up here from Warner Brothers?
First up is Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice in 2016. Okay, I didn't know if you had like feedback or I'm just reading through them. Okay,
Just go ahead and get through them and
Okay.
we'll talk about them.
Suicide Squad in 2016, Wonder Woman in 2017, Justice League Part 1 in 2017, The Flash in 2018, Aquaman in 2018, Shazam in 2019, because you can't say Shazam without saying it like that, Justice League Part 2 in 2019, Cyborg in 2020, and Green Lantern in 2020.
Very ambitious.
You think?
Super duper ambitious. And there's been there's not going to be a solo Superman or Batman film though.
No.
Which I think is really weird considering they're DC's biggest characters. But then again, they're getting the team up movie. Then I'm sure they're both going to be main characters in the Justice League. I mean, kind of has to be, right?
Well, it already says Ben Affleck is in the first Justice League movie.
Yeah, it says that Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, and Amy Adams, Lois Lane are all going to be reprising their roles in the first Justice League. And I have heard some speculation on Justice League Part 1. The rumor is that that's where they'll be releasing, it'll be kind of debuting Green Lantern, and that the villain will be Brainiac. That's the speculation.
Oh, really?
There's been no official announcement. But that's the speculation on it. I'm very excited about it.
Interesting.
And I don't know. I think by that time we'll have a couple of years of Legends of Gotham under our belt. I think you might be a little bit more excited about it.
Yeah, this whole thing is. I'm not a huge comic person. I'm sorry. I also think it's a little crazy that they already have somebody committed to star in a movie in 2020.
You know who's playing the Flash though, right?
No.
That's the guy from Perks of Being a Wallflower. The kid,
yeah,
the main character. I knew you liked that movie, so I figured you might be
I liked
interested
the movie
in
for the book. The movie was very good.
Yeah.
This is completely off topic. I'm sorry, everyone.
Oh, it's totally fine.
It was Pittsburgh. What do you want from me?
But
Pittsburgh and Rocky Horror. Anyway, sidetrack. I'm closing the window.
Totally fine. Yeah, but it looks very interesting. And if you want to check out the official press release on that, it doesn't include the speculation about villains and Green Lanterns and all that sort of thing. You can get it in the show notes at legendsofgotham.com. Now, it's not as pressing as our other podcast, but
because it's a day break.
Yeah, but Monday night, actually next week it will be because we're recording on Tuesday night.
Well,
because Anne-Marie is going to be out of town. But one of our listeners from the other our Once Upon a Time show, Hope Mullinex, is going to come in and she's going to take Anne-Marie's seat for both shows.
Is she literally taking my seat or is she calling in?
I'm not sure yet. It could go either way.
Just
I think
curious.
she might be having some car troubles. It might be Skype and it might be.
I was going to leave her a note on my chair if she was going to be here.
But so we're recording Tuesday night next week. So you definitely want to try and get in and get your feedback in as quickly as possible.
True story.
The email's legendsofgotham@gmail.com. The Twitter's @legendsofgotham. The Facebook is facebook.com/legendsofgotham. And the voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. And first up, we have Bobby here who left us a voicemail.
Bobby.
Take it away, Bobby.
Hey, Bill and Anne-Marie, it's Bobby. I just finished watching the new episode of Gotham. Unfortunately, my DVR skipped the first 5 minutes of it, so that sucked. But I did like what I saw.
You missed the eye scene. Probably for the best.
The show's trying to mix procedural and serialization. This week focused a bit more on serialization, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because it did a good job of setting things up going forward. We all knew that Cobblepot's rise to power would be a huge element of the show, but I am happy to see it progressing so quickly. I love how Cobblepot's got the whole red paperclip thing going on, where he starts off with a small thing and just makes it grow better things. It was not that long ago that he was thrown in a river and thought for dead.
I noticed you were confused about the red paperclip reference.
Yeah, no hablo.
Do you remember the guy? It was probably 6 or 7 years ago. He started trading a red paperclip on Craigslist and ended up going all the way, kept trading up until he had a house.
Somebody traded this man a house?
Well, it was just incremental trades. Like he traded the red paperclip for, I don't know, a bottle cap that was worth $5. Then he traded that bottle cap for something that was worth $10, and on and on and on, and kept building up, just like the Penguin's doing here.
And now, just 3 short episodes later, he's already obtained some form of, obtained quite a bit of money and some form of power. I knew as soon as that robbery happened in the restaurant that he had to have made off with some of that money, but I was surprised to see that he more or less masterminded the whole thing. I was not surprised, however, to see what happened to his henchman, because as soon as I saw him walk into the room with that pink box, I knew that things were not going to end well.
No.
And then, of course, my favorite element of this episode would probably be the maybe setting up the Arkham City situation going forward. Of course, we all know Arkham Asylum, but there was an Arkham Asylum video game that then had a sequel, Arkham City, that more or less they just fenced off a whole area of Gotham surrounding Arkham Asylum, locked all the crooks behind the fence, and called it Arkham City and let them have at it, almost like a Escape from New York or Escape from LA type situation. So it will be interesting to see if and how that plays out going forward. And I am liking the budding relationship between Gordon and Bruce. I've heard some people have some negative comments about that, but I think it's one of my favorite elements of the show. Can't wait to hear what you guys think of this week's episode.
Thank you, Bobby. Yeah, and I think thanks also for getting that background info on Arkham City, because I'm kind of familiar with it, but like I said, I've only made it part way through the first Arkham game, so just because I don't have enough time to play video games. I hate being an adult. Oh, something I saw Bobby, because Bobby's in the chat tonight, that I thought was kind of funny. He said when he heard Bullock tell Gordon to let it go, it was like our two podcasts collided, because they're doing.
I was letting that one go.
Okay, here we have another voicemail from Woo. Take it away, Woo.
I really enjoyed this week's episode of Gotham because it reminded me of an old school, and Meeks will get this reference, a Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams Batman story from the Silver Age, how the crime families in Gotham, and in the comics it was the Bernellis, the Falcones, and the Maronis. And if that name Bernelli was used on the CW's Arrow. I loved in this episode that we see that the rotten core and the foundation for all the bad stuff in Gotham is how really political people with political power fund these two crime families. I like that Bruce now realizes through Gordon that using these detective skills and fighting for what you believe in is really important. I give this episode 6 steel spikes out of 6. Talk to you guys next week. Bye, AMD and Bill.
Oh, Woo.
Thank you, Woo. And Amory, because we're running a little long, I'm going to cut a couple of these out. You want to go ahead and read that first one from Colin?
Okay. Hey, Bill and Anna. It's Anne-Marie, but that's okay. Okay. For all the periods. Oh, sorry for all the periods, because there's a lot of ellipses in the beginning, but I was running to my computer. Then I realized my phone was in my pocket. So I had to catch my breath. Just joking with you, Bill. Anyways, love the show, and I think you guys are doing Gotham justice by doing this podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Also, I wanted to see if you think that they will have Bruce interact with any other characters in the show besides Alfred and Jim. Colin.
Colin,
coming soon.
I think so. I definitely, if nothing else, Catgirl.
That was what I was gonna say, because she was in that preview. It's got to be soon. It's got to be.
Okay, let's see
do
here.
that next one too. Oh,
well, no, I'm deleting that one. Nick wrote one in, and he's written in the past few weeks. We're not going to have time to read the whole thing.
That's what you get with English majors. They write a long story.
But he wanted to mention that the first person he saw the person he saw in this episode that reminded him of the Joker was the first singer, because she kind of had like a Joker-esque look about her.
Oh.
And And actually, he was also complaining about Gordon going to Bruce about saving Gotham City. So this is the complaint that Bobby was talking about.
Oh, gotcha.
But sorry, Nick, we had to cut you this week. Hopefully next week it'll be a little better.
All right, I'm going to read the next one then.
Okay, and the last one we'll wrap it up.
And this one is from, oh, goodness. Do you want to pronounce that?
At Andorian IP.
Yeah, that. It was kick-ass awesome as usual. Hashtag Gotham. So happy for his full season pickup. Yay.
Yeah, I forgot we can say ass on this show.
We can say ass on the show.
Ass.
That's the only one we've allowed.
Yeah, so
that's why I censored myself earlier with another one.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Okay, yeah, so I guess that wraps it up for listener feedback.
A nice, neat little package.
Yeah, and like I said, next week you're going to need to run to your computer. I would recommend making sure that there's no one waiting around a corner with a little sticky
yes,
as you run, to email us at legendsofgotham@gmail.com, tweet us at legendsofgotham, Facebook is facebook.com/legendsofgotham, and the voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352, and you can call and leave voicemails with people like Renee Montoya and TJ Scott and other people related to Gotham. You can call on the same line. It's almost like you're talking to them.
And actually, who knows? Next week you might have a voicemail from me.
Yes, very true.
Maybe I'll hop in the chat room if I'm able to. I'm going to a work thing, so I have no promise.
We're in Orlando, right?
I will actually be on Disney property. Yes.
Nice.
Yay.
Okay, well, I guess that wraps it up for this week. So until next week.
That's not how this one ends.
How does this end? You end it this time. I want you to end it this time since you're not going to be here next week. You got to pick up the load. Legends of Gotham.